Thank you for joining me today. It looks like you're in like Hawaii or something.
Oh, I
feel
wish.
So thank you for joining me today and everyone who's tuning in to Diversity Chats, where we bridge the gaps of diversity and destroy ignorance before it destroys another life. And I want to welcome my guest today. Guest, if you could please share your name with us.
We're losing connection. There we go.
Oh, there it is. Okay. It froze. And then can you share your name with us?
My name's Dr. Kashira Rodgers.
Excellent. And then where are you from? Where do you currently reside?
Can you repeat that? You broke up a little.
Oh, no problem. Where are you from, and where do you currently reside?
So I was born and raised in East Los Angeles, Boyle Heights.
Oh, nice.
And I currently reside in Palmdale, California.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. And then which ethnic group do you identify as?
African American, Black.
And if you don't mind giving your age or range.
I am 42 years old and not ashamed to say it.
I love it. Good. Nice. So this is my first time ever talking to you. So thank you so much for going out on a limb and joining me on this chat today. I saw you on a routine conversation that you and some other doctors had through our job. And so I really appreciate what you guys did. And I wanted to hear more from you, hear more about the mental health aspect of, maybe some racial tensions that are in the history of America. And so my first kind of focal point that I'd like to hear your voice about is code switching. So can you tell us what that is and how it affects people?
So code switching, in lay terms, we'll just keep it very general. So that's basically when you have to be a certain way in front of a certain population that doesn't look like you. So the conversation between you and I can go one way. And if I'm saying certain words, I may take you back to your childhood where you go, oh yeah, I remember, my big mama used to say that, or my Uncle Joe used to say that, something in that sense. Whereas if I were to say that to someone who is not Black African American, they're going to give me that look like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Hold on, let me grab the Urban Dictionary.
Okay.
So
yeah, I do call one of my neighbors Big Mama. That's the time that I've ever called anybody that. But she asked of me. So it's pretty fun when I tell other people, yeah, Big Mama gave me some whatever, like she's food and stuff, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like you associate most with Tyler Perry or something with Medea or something like that.
Right.
People hear that name, but it is a term of endearment. It is like an honoring, loving kind of way of communicating with each other. So I do like using it. And I was recently reading about, or listening to rather, Insider had a conversation about AAVE, African American Vernacular English, and I think that's related to the code switching.
Absolutely.
That might have like a way of speaking, but maybe when we go to the workspace, we speak differently. Can you share on any of your experiences? I know you mentioned like even with clients, maybe feeling more comfortable,
so
certain ways.
If we're looking at dealing with colleagues, coworkers. I feel like that can be in any setting, right? Most of the time when you walk into a room, most of us tend to look for people that look like us, and we gravitate towards them or to someone that we may be familiar with if we're totally aware that there is no one that looks like us. I'm not from that area, so I was not used to all of the political things that come with working there, living there, and so on and so forth. So when I started there, it was an interesting adventure.
Yeah.
What I did notice is there were not very many clinicians that looked like me. And because of that, I started getting clients coming in saying, you know, who's that? Who's that? Is she a therapist? Is she a therapist? I'm friendly. I speak to everyone. If I'm being honest, I speak on a lighter note to clients than I do to colleagues. To colleagues, I'm just like, hey, we're all here. Let's, I can be cordial. Let's do what we need to do and move on. Mm-hmm. Whereas with clients, let's just say I enjoy my clients much more than I do some of my colleagues.
Okay.
Not all of them. Say that again?
That's a friendly way to say it.
Yeah. So with clients, I can sit down with them, and like I said in the town hall, a lot of times they feel much more comfortable to speak with me because I speak their language, so to speak. Yeah. So it's okay. I don't have to try to find those big words or use words that you understand. I can be me, and you understand that. And I make it very clear when I meet with them. Just be you. You don't have to use the words that you learned because you've met with therapist after therapist after therapist. Just talk.
Yeah.
What's going on with you? Describe it in your words. I can figure it out from there. That's pretty much what I went to school for.
Yeah.
It's not their job to figure out what's wrong with them. It's ours.
Yeah. That's true. And then, I don't know about you, but I've been told that I sound white. And when I was reading that insider or listening to that insider interview or conversation, they used the term regional accent. And I actually prefer that than saying that, if you speak a certain way, there's a skin color associated with it. But instead, this understanding that regionally, it's more dominant to sound a certain way. And that's why, it's more European, as one of my coworkers would say. But it's not necessarily a skin tone or anything. Because where I grew up around a lot of white people. So I just maybe sound that way, I guess, to people who are from a different neighborhood. Mm-hmm. But trust me, someone will still cross the street on me. So I'm very aware that I'm Black, regardless of how people they listen to me and think, one thing about me. So it's really interesting how people can be even critical of each other within, maybe African American culture, because the other day someone even called me Afro Pup, another Black lady whose hair wasn't out in a natural form. So there's this weird, you straighten up for external kind of conversations, this code switching, and then even internally within Black culture or within the African American community, or I don't even like to say community because we're in so many different communities, but we may end up talking differently around different people, and that's the whole gist of it. Mm-hmm. So I know that one of the things y'all brought up in the Juneteenth conversation was the I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but drapetomania. Did I say it right?
Close enough.
Just know how to see it, please.
So that basically goes back to slavery days, right? So it basically talks about that was one of the first diagnoses that we were given by, I don't remember his name, but it was way back, a psychiatrist from.
I did write down the year 1851. I didn't want to write down the date because I didn't give any credit, but I did write down the term drapetomania or whatever.
So I'm not an expert in the history piece of that.
Yeah.
But I am somewhat familiar with it, and I do know that it came from way back when, and that's basically when one of the diagnoses we were given, we meaning African American, the slaves, when a slave decided that they wanted to run away. So why do they want to run away? Oh, well, there's something wrong with them. Because we want to be free? Interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at, it's interesting that you even bring that up, because we meaning myself and a few other Black doctors, were discussing the theories that we have, that we study, that we learn from, that we focus on, and that we learn to use when dealing with clients. Theoretical orientations, CBT, DBT, all these T's. Where do they come from? Caucasian men.
What are those things that you just said, the acronyms?
So they are, DBT is dialectic, I can't even say it right now. I'll get it together. Give me a minute.
Yeah. Or what are they, I guess?
So
like, what are those?
It's a theoretical orientation. So if I meet with you and you tell me, I've had issues since a very young girl. Okay, what was your childhood like? Well, when I was 5 years old, my parents got divorced. So in my mind, my gears start going. Where am I going to pull from? What father of psychology, based off of his experience, his expertise, do I say, okay, this is who I'm going to focus on, and I know this orientation, this theoretical orientation, is what is going to work with her, with you. So you told me it started from when you were a child. More than likely, I'm going to say, okay, psychodynamic. Why? Because psychodynamic looks at when you were a little bitty person, and it says it started from childhood, and it just developed because it was unresolved. She never dealt with it, and now it's presenting in every aspect of her life. In, intimate relationships, friendships, relationships at work. Every part of your life is being impacted by that one thing that happened to you, or all those things that happened to you when you were that little bitty person.
Mm-hmm. So it's pulling from theories from other psychologists, and they just happen to be like so far back. They're mostly all white men. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely. So
I get that.
How can you treat us?
Got it.
Off of there.
Yeah, especially consider that drapetomania, that's what I'm going to call it, until so me, because that was a white man, from a psychological theory or whatever, telling people, misinforming people, I should say, about Black people in America. And when I heard that, when I saw the book, when y'all were doing the presentation, I thought to myself, okay, so he's saying there's a mental health issue for the slave, but I'm wondering what your thought is about the mental health issue for someone who would say it's okay to have slaves, to treat another human being that way. Like, maybe not. I know it's not. This is a new question, maybe to you. So I'm not expecting like a very expanded thought. But what is your consideration about the mental health on the other side of the slaveholder or the slave owner or whatever?
Oh, there's definitely a mental health issue there, right? I can't throw out all these different diagnoses. Haven't met with them, but there's definitely something going on there. Any person that feels that they can own a person,
yeah,
and be okay with that, there's definitely something wrong with that. How can
yeah.
we not say that that would not be some form of mental illness?
Yeah.
When we are quick to say that there's something wrong with an individual, that the batterer in a domestic violence situation. Let's just look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Am I comparing, a slave owner to a batterer? Not really, but there's some similarities there.
Yeah, like the abuse part.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like it just shocked me to think that people have this group think about, something so unhealthy being okay and what's considered intellectual or speaking from a space of knowledge and wisdom to say such crazy things. So I just thought of that when you guys were talking about that book. And I know Maya Angelou has she has this poem, We Wear the Mask. I'm not sure if it's hers or she was like riffing off someone else's, but she talks about kind of like code switching, how Black people, they show up a certain way to not seem threatening to people. Do you have anything to say about that?
I feel like we all at some point do that. I mean, think about how the majority of us at one point before the Crown Act, how we would go in for our job interviews. Oh, I can't walk in there with my sister locks. I can't walk in with my dreads. Hold on, let me go grab a wig. Can somebody do a quick weave for me? I have to look presentable to them. Regardless of what my resume says, regardless of my experience, regardless of all of that, already I'm lucky to get an interview. Why? Because my name is very ethnic sounding.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you
Same
look
here.
at yeah, I mean, let's just go there. Think about when now I remember my colleague was pregnant with her third child. And one of the things we discussed at her baby shower was, hey, like most friends, what are you going to name your baby? Oh, I haven't decided yet. Husband jumps in and he's like, well, it can't be one of those hard to pronounce names. What? Well, yeah, because you know how hard that's going to be to get a job? Well, interesting.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to go through that. We should not have to hide who we are to be presentable to somebody else or non-threatening to someone else. Yeah. I mean, I'm already threatening enough. I walk in, I'm Black, I got sister locks, I got tattoos that are visible. I am who I am. You're either going to take it or you're not. I'm not going to sit here and try to figure out what I can do to make you comfortable. If you're uncomfortable, good. I'm glad you're uncomfortable, especially with this, everything that we're dealing with now. Yeah. I hope you're uncomfortable because that means you're listening. That means I have your attention. Wow. You've been uncomfortable. Like I said, I'm 42 years old. I've been uncomfortable for 42 years. It is perfectly fine for you to feel uncomfortable for the 15, 20 minutes that we are talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sad.
I mean, 42 years, you're young. 42 is still young, but 42 years of having to put that mask on or having to not force the mask off because you don't want to deny who you are and you don't want to get people unfamiliar with you. I think like if you, I don't want to word in your mouth, but personally, I've been at a job where they told me like, hey, maybe you can use your middle name. No. And I take a stand. Your face is telling me something. I had to take a stand and say, you know what? I need people to know that people with LaQuisha as a name can do great work and are not ignorant and not, stereotypical things, because my name has been used in very disrespectful ways in different media forms. What were you thinking when I said that? Because your face changed.
I'm like, if that's the case, if you want my middle name, it's worse than my first name. So, my experience, I've had someone say to me, hey, would it be okay now? We work at the same agency, so we know it is very, very, very important for that agency that you address anyone with the title doctor by that title. So I had an individual say to me, would it be okay if I call you by your first name? Well, you just called every other doctor in here doctor, but when it comes to me, you want to call me by my first name? Absolutely not. It would behoove you to say doctor rather than my first name, because I guarantee you can't pronounce it. And if you mispronounce it, I'm going to be the one to correct you each and every time. And the second and third and fourth time, you might get a little bit more attitude. So to avoid that, let's just call me doctor. I earned the title just like everyone else. If not, had to go through more than what they did. Mm-hmm. No way, no how. Yeah. And why should I have to go by a middle name or any other name when you're perfectly fine with me calling you by your plain Jane name?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. My mom said, keep it real. I want to say hi to my friend Emily and Thomas because they said, hey.
Okay, everybody.
Yeah, it's like, it's interesting. When I was working at the job before they wanted me to use my middle name, I was going through a list of names, and there was a lot of names from overseas. And I said, dang, that name's a little bit more complex than my name. And I know that there are people come from other countries. They actually change their name so that they won't face criticism and things like that. But clearly these individuals hadn't. And I say, if they're going to probably use their name, it's got way more letters than mine, and I have no idea how to say it, then, respectfully, then I'm going to, be very proud of mine, And I used to say, I know, my name's ghetto, blah, blah, blah. And one of my sisters at church told me, your name's not ghetto, your name is ethnic. And that gave me pride. And I heard you use that word too. So thank you for using that word. It is. It's just regional, but it's not bad. It's just regional. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's this movie I did not watch because it probably has a whole bunch of cussing. I can't do it. But it's called Sorry to Bother You. I don't know. Have you seen that movie?
No.
It's so the premise is basically this black guy, Donald Glover. How do you say his name? Glover? I can't think of it. Anyways, he's there and he's black and he's coaching this young black guy, and they're in a call center, and he's telling him, this is how you get people to respect you on the phone. You have to put your white voice on. And I'm saying that respectfully. I love my white friend. And this is regional accent. That's my new term instead of white voice. But and so it's just a comedy. And so he's tell him to change his name. And then there's this clearly it's a voiceover, some other person talking, and it's really totally different tone. But in order for him to be successful at his job. So I thought that was, I don't know, I just wanted to bring that up because we are talking about the way that people speak and how they're respected or disrespected based off of that. So I don't know if anybody's out there seen that, but it looks funny. Tell me about it. One of the things that I thought was interesting, there's no way I can read all of that. Oh, Shannon. Okay. Shannon said, my name is Shannon Latoya McNeil, and don't think I've ever not receive some surprise or snarky response once I say my middle name, it's definitely makes me even say my middle name. Oh, it definitely makes me even say my middle name a specific way. Oh, Shannon.
Yeah.
That's one of my friends. Yeah, it's unfortunate that there's this weird, like, oh, I guess I have to.
Yeah.
In order to make you comfortable. Yeah.
And why do we have to do that? Because we aren't Karen Ann? Because we aren't Susie Lee? Like, it makes no sense. We should be able to be who we are. It's interesting that we're even having this conversation because I was reading, I don't remember what article it was. I was reading some article, and you're starting to see more and more non-Black, non-African American individuals naming their baby. A really common one was Lakeisha.
Ah, okay.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, you feel some type of way about our names, but now you're taking our names. And you're, not that we own them, you know, these are our names, we copywritten them, but there is a, like you said earlier, a stereotype that goes with that name. If you see a resume comes across your desk and you see Lakeisha Johnson and in comes someone that's non-Black, the first thing that crosses your mind is, okay, maybe I made a mistake.
I didn't think that way.
But I mean,
yeah.
Why we tend to do it. We tend to do it as well. If we see, you know, we're going down a roll call of someone, immediately we see a name that looks ethnic. We're like, oh, it's some sisters in here. Oh, it's a brother in here. You know how many non-Black people I know named Jawan nowadays? Like, that is so common. Like, you can't tell who's who by a name anymore.
Well, do you think that's good, or is that improvement? Is that helping us?
I'm going to lean towards that is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
That is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you will see no one ever with my name. At least I hope not.
I don't know. I think so.
I mean, I've seen Kanisha. I have not seen a Kashira.
Uh-huh.
And usually when they see my name written, it's Kashira, Shakira, Shakira. I get everything but my name.
Yeah. Because the I is in your name.
Yes.
Kashira.
Yes.
I love that. It's funny, you might be like me when you travel. You probably don't find the magnet with your name on it either, huh?
Not ever. Not ever.
That was real.
Yeah, I've had people say, hey, you know, would you one day want to change your name just because it makes it easier, or maybe shorten it because my family calls me Cash. Just the first four letters of my name. My close friends call me Cash. So why don't you just change your name to Cash? Absolutely not. I would not ever change my name. Not ever.
That's good. Yeah.
I am who I am, and I will not apologize for it. Not gonna happen.
I love it. Yeah.
Not gonna happen. I feel like it shouldn't have taken some of us this long to be who we are and comfortable with who we are. Like you said, you know, you have the individuals that are like, well, why are you wearing your hair in a natural state? You could get a perm. Your hair is so pretty, but you need to press it. You need to do this. I don't need to do anything but what I'm doing. Mind your own self business. Like, we are not going to do this.
Yeah.
No, and then, you know, we have our little people, our little babies. Oh, she's pretty for a Black girl. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
I've heard that before, and I'm quick to correct.
Yeah.
These babies hear this growing up, and what happens as they get older? They start to think, I'm only pretty. You know, this Black skin is only pretty because this person gave me the okay to be pretty. Or if I get a little bit lighter, I'll be even more pretty.
Mm-hmm.
No, we need to start praising our babies from the moment that they are born and keep that going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I did not share on the town hall is prior to me doing what I do now, I was a special needs teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those kids, the first time they ever heard that they are capable, they are handsome, they are beautiful, they are pretty, they are whatever, was with us. That should not be the first time that they hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting with parents, I started being a psychologist far, way early on before I even earned my degree.
Yeah.
I need you guys to understand that, yes, your kids spend more time with me during the day. I have them 6 to 8 hours, but you had them since birth. You need to raise their self-esteem from the moment that they are born and keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
There should be no reason why you go to bed without telling your child how beautiful, how pretty, how handsome, how adorable, how whatever they are before they go to bed each and every night. And that should be the first thing that they hear when they wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Put positive affirmations on their mirrors. I don't care what you need to do, but they need to hear it from you first. Why? Because then we get our promiscuous little girls and our promiscuous little boys, and we wonder, where is this child learning this from? Why are they seeking attention here?
Mm-hmm.
It's not always because mommy's missing from the household or daddy's missing or both parents are missing.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for someone to tell them that they are worth it.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't have to seek that outside of the home.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, my dad was real intentional to tell me. He said, I want to be a man that tells you you're beautiful so that you don't just go out there and the first man says you're beautiful, you just like, oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Just like, he's like, no, there's a man in your life to be able to tell you you're beautiful. But it is powerful to be able to, start in your household. And I think that's what I've been hearing a lot on these diversity chats. When we think about how do we solve problems, my friend Trish was saying, our names are beautiful. It's really important to do the work of a parent at home or do the work of an auntie or an uncle or whatever you are to be speaking life into people and even gently correct. Like you said, they say, oh, for a black baby, that's pretty or cute or whatever.
Right.
Baby,
Exactly.
It's just those little comments are very helpful. Yes, Emily, our household, you have authority over your household. You have authority over the dinner table and how those conversations go. And so I know that our time is surpassed. This Instagram is going to kick us off very shortly. So my clothing, I wanted to plug really quick. There's an Audrey Hepburn movie called My Fair Lady from 1964. Mm-hmm. And just when I think about code switching, it's interesting that the way you started off, you said it wasn't, I'm going to speak of it generally, basically, and not by color, because that's a lady from, I think she's from the Appalachians or something. She spoke a certain way, and they tried to correct her, a speech therapist. So it was a white lady being corrected by a white man, and they didn't respect the way she spoke. So I do want to just acknowledge that I understand that it's not by color, but, it is somehow with Black people in America, at least that's all I can speak from as Americans, we don't have to, but we have been conditioned subconsciously to change the way we speak, and it's annoying. And I wish that people would just say, I can hear you, but I know the same if someone's from the South. 100 Humans on Netflix did an episode about language too, and they had the same lady, and she has to be white, doing British accent, like a Minnesota accent or something, and like a Midwest or a Southern accent. Mm-hmm. And to people were like, I respect this accent. She sounded ignorant on that accent, blah, blah, blah. So I know that it's not by color. It is some weird, brainwashing because, the media, the producers, they pick a certain accent that's considered regionally acceptable. And that's what our ears are tuned to, and then we think different things about different people. But I hope everybody just stay open to loving everybody, respect everybody. I'm going to do my closing, like I said. So thank you guys for tuning in today. I appreciate you guys, with your comments. I appreciate Kashira joining me today. And thank you, and ask you to join us for the next diversity chat where we destroy ignorance before it destroys us. And Kashira, our doctor, you earned doctor. Kashira, respect. Do you have any closings before IG kicks us off?
All I want to say is be proud of who we are, who you are. Whether it's black, white, Asian, whatever. I don't care who you are. Be proud of it. We don't have to hate another to be proud of who we are. Love and respect who you are. And like I said before, it starts in the household. So if we start with our little people and continue it outside of the household, we can maybe not completely get rid of the issues that are outside of our household, but definitely minimize.
Yes.
So let's do our part one at a time.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate your closing remarks. Everything else you said. Wish I could talk to you longer, but maybe I'll see you around sometime.
Absolutely.
Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.